Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Oh, that is not Peter Blake. That is most definitely not Peter Blake. That is Tim Ham. That is Tim Ham.
This guy.
What's up, dog?
What's going on? Welcome to Wednesday, JP
Yeah, right?
Peterson Show.
Yeah, we got lots to get into. The Bucks getting ready to take on the Eagles. That's a big game. Tom Brady's coming here, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be a little awkward? Production meeting with Baker Mayfield. Is he even doing these production meetings? A lot of people are saying he's not because he doesn't really have a whole lot of information.
I don't think he. Well, I mean, he. Okay, look.
I'll find out today because Tom Rinaldi's supposed to be at the Bucks today. Aaron Andrews supposed to be at the Bucks, sitting down doing all the one-on-ones with the boys. So, yeah, Fox #1 team coming in, the big game, 1 o'clock Sunday. Let's go. Let's hope the stadium's still there.
1 o'clock in September again at Raymond James Stadium.
Oh, God, yeah. But you know what's the beautiful part? The good part about a hurricane is, if there's any good parts about a hurricane, when they pass through, they suck up all the moisture and the humidity, and you really have some nice days afterwards. So hopefully it'll be a nice day, not as the humidity's been down a little bit this week. So hopefully it's a nice day and it only feels like 95 instead of 105
right
for the fans. We'll see. But I know this, there's going to be a lot of Eagles fans there. There's going to be a lot of Eagles fans there, bro.
Ugh, gross. That green just makes me want to vomit.
Well, they didn't show up for the playoff game,
No.
which was interesting.
Well, because they knew.
Yeah, well, I think, was that the Bucks fan base stepping up, or was that the Eagles fan base not producing a demand for the tickets because they knew they were going to get their ass kicked? I don't know, because the regular season game was probably a 50-50 crowd, which is embarrassing,
Right.
And the Bucks players talked about it too. When the players start noticing it, that's bad. That's really bad. For a team that really needs some juice, and I expect them to play at their Lions level intensity for this one. Because I got news for you. You don't bring that intensity to tackle Saquon Barkley, he's going to embarrass you. He's going to embarrass you. And he is off to one hell of a start. Did the Cowboys have a little bit of non-buyer's remorse not going after Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry?
No, the Cowboys don't operate that way.
They don't go after good players. They just keep their crappy ones and pay them way too much money.
I mean, kinda. That's kind of their history. They kind of go get retreads. Like they either keep their players too long, or in the case of Zeke, you just go find them and bring them back after a year because apparently he's better than he was when you cut him a year ago.
Well, running backs, they get much better with age.
Of course. Especially after a year in New England and that powerhouse that it was last year, that offense.
Yes, of course. Yes, he got right up there. Well, whatever. But here comes Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Now, they are as banged up. First of all, let me set up the show here today. Leo Haggerty's going to join us at 10:30, as he does each and every Wednesday, with our USF report. And we're going to talk Bulls football as they now embark on their most important part of their schedule, which is the AAC part of the schedule. And this is where, they're back in their weight class, so to speak. I don't mean that in a pejorative way at all, but they're back in their weight class where they can be the big dog instead of, nipping at the heels of Alabama and Miami. Now they can go out and enforce their will on some teams of their ilk and take care of business. Because to this point, it's been a lot of, let's see what we got. Let's prove it. But these are the money games as they head to Tulane, which should not be affected by the hurricane. Now, the preparations for USF may be a little affected by the hurricane. They're canceling their media availabilities, and I believe campus is closed today or for the students today, but they will do their practices. I don't think they're scheduled to leave Friday, right? So the storm should be passed. They should be able to fly behind the storm. That's, and hopefully there won't be much damage here and won't be any airport damage, and they should be able to get out. So I would think at this point there's no talk of delaying any games, the Sunday game, the game in New Orleans. So none of that seems to be an issue. But of course, folks, batten down the hatches. This is a huge, huge storm. Doesn't look like it's super powerful, but it looks like a storm surge could be a real issue in this one.
So when I was up late last night, as I told you, watching our own freaking hurricane blow through Frisco, Texas, and I was up on the weather app and I was monitoring Helene over there, and I don't know, as of 3:30 this morning Central Time, it wasn't even a hurricane again. It was back down to a tropical storm with 65-mile-an-hour sustained winds. So are they projecting it to strengthen back up to a hurricane?
Yeah, they're projecting it to be a Cat 3 when it hits the coast, just south of Tallahassee. And yeah, I put something on Twitter that most people liked and some people didn't.
I got to go check that out then.
Oh yeah, well I tell you, I had the map of the the course that we think it's going to take right through Tallahassee and up into Georgia, skirt Athens and go up into Kentucky. So I said, hey, Hurricane Helene, could you do me a solid and stop off at Tallahassee, pick up my boy DJU and drop him in Athens?
Oh, I didn't
Seems
see
to be
that.
on the way or in the way, even things up a little bit. Is that
I think it's funny. I don't have a problem with it.
It's on the way.
Yeah, it's right there.
Just grab him, and
it's just a matter of convenience, is what you're looking for.
How much worse would Georgia be with DJU at quarterback as opposed to Carson Beck? Yeah, that's my point.
I just never understood
even the playing field. Nobody understands it at this point. It is a mystery, who built the pyramids and why the hell is he still playing?
We know who built the pyramids. That was aliens, JB. We know that.
Okay. Well, I would agree. 100%. Evidence is overwhelming.
Yes.
So, I mean, I will admit it is one of my real enjoyments of life is, sitting down and when it's out of football season and watching like good 6-hour marathon of Ancient Aliens. I mean,
they're great.
Where did all the drawings come from? Did they just suddenly, I think I'm going to draw a flying saucer on in my hieroglyphics today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah.
And how do you have ancient civilizations from opposite sides of the globe from each other having the same architecture and the same drawings and the same technology that didn't exist at the time?
Exactly. Oh, come on, you tinfoil hat dude.
I want to know where these
aliens are now.
Why aren't they helping us? Why aren't they helping us now? That's what I want to know. Why aren't they here now?
How do you know they're not?
What's?
What was it? What was that Disney show? It was produced by Disney, and it was, it's one of those things where they're telling you what's really happening behind the scenes. And they had all the leaders. They had all the leaders of the free world that had been, shift shaping or whatever the hell they call it, shapeshifters into the leaders of the free world. They would become their image, and they were running everything behind the scenes. And yeah, that was fun to watch. That was an interesting one.
You remember the TV show from the 80s, V?
Yeah.
The lizard people?
Yeah. The lizard people.
When I was in middle school. I was in middle school when that came out. I was terrified.
People zeroing in on the eyes like, look, there's our real eyes. Yes, I know. Yeah, right. Absolutely. It's all about us. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. It's all a simulation. But we're going to simulate a football game on Sunday, and it's going to be fun. This is one of those games where you got two teams that have history together. The Bucks put them out of the playoffs last year. The Eagles are trying to, they get a big win this past week over a Saints team that was blowing everybody out. This Eagles offense is explosive. They're averaging about 250 a game offensively through the air. And even though Jalen Hurts continues to throw picks at an alarming rate, he's thrown picks in 7 straight games now, had 2 turnovers in the first half against the Saints. So he's turnover prone. He'll fumble the ball. He'll throw it to you. The Bucs have got to get turnovers. They've got to put some pressure on the passer this week. Last week was just unacceptable. You have 100 pass rushes without a sack. That is not going to get it done in this league, especially when your offenses can't break 225 yards 2 weeks in a row. Like, that is a recipe for disaster. So I think there are issues that are eminently correctable. You know, Liam Cohen had a great come out party against the Commandos, but since then it's been tough sledding as other teams get film on him and look at his tendencies. So now he's got to adjust. I think he's smart enough to do so. I think they got enough weapons on this offense to be able to get things done, but good Lord, they need Luke Gedeke back so bad. And Baker Mayfield said it's like we have to really change what we're doing. And, you know, the Bucs offense can be good when it has all its pieces. It's not good enough to overcome a lot of injuries, right? You know, Baker Mayfield ain't Patrick Mahomes. He ain't Josh Allen. He's not good enough to overcome a ton of injuries. And especially right now, when you look at this offensive line, is what appears to me. Right tackle, obviously, Schooley is not NFL caliber. He is not good enough to play in this league, in my opinion. They need to put Hainsey out there. If Gedeke can't play, they got to put Hainsey out there and try something different because Schooley ain't working. And the Bucs have been way too slow to recognize and hope guys start to get it. The dude is too slow. He ain't got it. Hainsey has played right tackle in college. He started for 2 years in the NFL. He knows how to get stuff done. Put him out there. So right tackle is a problem right now. Right guard is a problem. You know, that's to me, you expected Cody Mount to take a step up to be better. He's been worse. He has regressed this year. And what he's put on tape is going to attract a lot of attention because the Eagles look at that and go, wow, that's a weak spot right there. That is a weak spot, and we're going to attack it. Graham Barton at center, I think, has been good. Left guard Bredesen has been overpowered as well. So right now you got issues at right tackle, right guard, and left guard. And to be quite honest, something's going on with Tristan Wirfs. He is not healthy. He fell down during the game, was down on the ground for a while, picked himself back up. He was kind of holding his left quad, which I think he's had some issues with. So he's clearly not healthy because he got beat to the outside. He never gets beat to the outside ever. And it's his left leg. So something is going on with Tristan Wirfs, in my opinion.
So we'll see if he shows up on the injury report today then for sure.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. So this suddenly your offensive line is a real liability where I thought it was going to be a real strength for this offense. It's a liability. And you need a healthy Luke Gedeke back. And I think that will certainly help Cody Mauch as well to get his mate back. That'll certainly help. And then you got, just getting one guy back helps the guy next to him. And, I said this for a while. I think Elijah Klein's going to be the starting left guard by the end of the year. You maybe start thinking about making that change as well because, these are issues that are going to continue on this offensive line. They got to be better. They got to be better than
Klein may be the only guy that's healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, better. Bredesen's the only healthy guy, and he's not playing well.
Yeah.
So they've got issues along the offensive line. So that is a question mark this week. Now the Eagles also are beat up as well. Devontae Smith is in concussion protocol, and I would doubt very seriously if he makes it out. He took a wicked shot, wicked, man, and that was ridiculous.
How that
held him up? Yeah, how is that not a penalty?
Or a suspension after the fact.
Suspension. I mean, he hit him with his helmet.
Knocked the helmet off, right?
Yeah, knocked Devontae's helmet off. And while he's being held up by 3 guys, like, where's the effing whistle? And that guy should know better. Again, this is maddening to me how the NFL Players Association doesn't take some type of action against 2 players. And after he was, he fumbled the ball because he was not cold. Some guy spears him, 98, I think it was, comes and spears him on top of that. And that's no penalty. I'm like, what the hell are these guys looking at? And it's the Saints who are taught to be dirty. Dennis Allen, it's We saw what they did to Godwin a few years ago, a cheap shot on the knee. They are, that's the Bounty Gate team. It's part of their culture. That's what they do. And it's sickening. It's one thing to be a physical football team. It's another thing to be a cheap shot team. And that's what they are. That's what the Saints are. And they have been. And that's, it's going to work to the Bucs' favor here because DeVonta Smith's not going to play. A.J. Brown hasn't played yet. He's got a hammy and doubtful that he comes back this week. And even if he does, is he going to be 100%? Probably not. And Lane Johnson, their best tackle, went out with a concussion. And usually when you get concussed during a game, it's hard to get back the next week, as we've seen from Luke Gedeke with the protocols. So if Lane Johnson doesn't play, and the numbers on the Eagles offense when he plays and when he doesn't are dramatically different, and they ain't better. So, the Eagles got a lot of issues they're working through too. So here comes, a game where you've got two coaching staffs. And when you get injuries, to me, it's all about coaching. How do you scheme it up on how do you attack their injuries, right? And how do you hide yours? What adjustments are you making to hide your injuries? And I don't think the Bucs have done a very good job of that on their offensive line the past few weeks because obviously Baker Mayfield has no time to operate whatsoever. And when he did, he was not trusting his protection. And so when you're not trusting your protection, everything goes awry. At that point, you can't 7-step drop, and then teams know it. And then, it's just the way it works in this league. The coaching adjustments are for real. And as you're the Buccaneers last week, and you just keep lining up 12 yards off the ball and letting a rookie quarterback take one step back and throw an out pattern with absolutely no duress whatsoever.
You made Bo Nix look like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's just, I know they're looking at, there's a report today that they're looking at the tape. They're going to look at the tape together, and call people out and get accountability. And it's like, well, okay. Where was that during the game?
Yeah.
It was very evident early on what they were doing and why they were doing it. And yet, I don't know if Jamel Dean it's on his own, if he's allowed to say, okay, you got this guy one-on-one. You can line up in press or you can line up 12 yards deep, whatever you want to do, but that's your guy. I don't know what the rules are, but I know this. If a team just consistently drops back and throws an out pattern when you're 12 yards off, you got to make an adjustment. You have to make an adjustment. And the Bucs never did. And that's ridiculous in a situation like that. When you have a rookie quarterback, you make it that easy. There's no pressure on him whatsoever. And you're playing 12 yards off the ball. What are we doing? What are we doing? At least if you're not getting any pressure, shouldn't you be at least up and press man so he doesn't have a quick release? One of the reasons they didn't get a lot of pressure is because the ball was out so quick. If the ball comes out in 2.3 seconds, you got no chance to get there, even if you're a free runner in a shotgun formation. And the ball comes out so quick because the pre-snap read is so easy and there's no pressure on the receiver. There's nobody guarding him.
And then the quarterback can predict that over and over again.
I come up, I look up and
hey, this looks familiar.
Okay.
Here we go again.
All right. What's that? Peyton's probably in his head. It's like, yeah, throw it out there.
Yeah.
yeah, throw it. I know there's a run play. Good. Yeah, throw it out there.
All the transmission to the helmet is same play.
Same play. Same play.
Again.
Same play. That's totally stop it. Same play. Wow. So that should be corrected this week, I would hope. And we'll see where this game matches. And I think that's going to be so huge. And first and foremost, the Bucs have got to stop Saquon Barkley. He is running wild. I'm trying to think, have they certainly haven't faced a back like Saquon Barkley yet. That's for damn sure. The Commanders certainly do not produce that. And, last week, Saquon's in another level. I think he reached 22 miles an hour, 21.8 miles per hour on his touchdown run last week. The dude, he's, in case you forgot, he's fast, he's big, and he is on a roll, and he's out to prove something. He's putting up MVP type numbers. And as his fantasy owner, I'm very pleased with that. But as a Buccaneers fan, I would not be pleased with that, because that's job one. Because the Eagles know if they can run the ball for 160, 70 yards like they've been doing, they don't need to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands and have him turn it over. They can just win the game like that, especially if this Bucs offense is still going to sputter. So, I don't know. This should be a good one. It should be a good one. I can't wait to get over there today. Heading out to Bucs and hear from Baker Mayfield and the rest of the boys and kind of test, just kind of test their resolve, see where they're at from a mental standpoint. I'll be very interested to see what the guys say today and how they say it, to see if they're pissed off.
Right.
I want to see if they're pissed off. They should be. Because they lost a golden opportunity last week to win a game in the NFL and go to 3-0. And your chances of making the playoffs at 3-0 are really, really good. And 2-1, you're just another team at 2-1. 3-0 is a difference maker, and they had a great opportunity to do it, and they should have been motivated to do it. But that was kind of an immature loss from an emotional standpoint. You just can't ride the roller coaster of emotions in the NFL. I understand how it works in college football, but once you get up here and you're getting paid to play, you come to play every single week like your hair's on fire. Then there are no exceptions.
Well, and like we talked about with TJ yesterday, you had a chance to sort of put a little bit of separation between yourself and the rest of the South.
Yeah.
Because the Saints lost, the Falcons lost, the Panthers won, but who cares? That's
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a different team with Dalton in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love me some. He's from, right around here. So, you had a chance to separate yourself, but in the grand scheme of things, yes, it hurts that you lost. You should have won the game, but I don't think it means a hill of beans. It's an AFC opponent. It's not going to hurt you at the end of the game, except for in the loss column, if that's what it comes down to.
But it's going to come down to one game. Getting into the playoffs or winning this division is going to come down to one game. And you're going to look back on your schedule and go, oh,
should have done that.
Now, will the Broncos make the playoffs? I'm here to say that I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix is a pretty good combination. And I know it started poorly, but I think there's obviously an acumen there from a coaching standpoint about developing quarterbacks. And I think the kid's got some tools. He's fast. He runs really well. He made good decisions last week. He's accurate. He can throw the ball down the field. I didn't see anything last week that would say, now he wasn't under duress at all. At all. So it's a little bit of a different evaluation, if you will, because he's going to see a lot more pressure. And evidently he doesn't play as well when he's pressured. Shocking development. So we'll see, but I think there's something there. We saw with the Commanders. Everybody kind of, said, okay, good win. You should beat the Commanders. I'm like, that's going to be a good football team. Jaden Daniels is going to be one hell of a player. And right now the Skins are 2-1, and they look pretty, and their only loss came to the Buccaneers. So, it's the NFL, right? Every week is different. Every week is hard. Every week is hard. So when you've got a game, and I'm not saying the Broncos game was a gimme. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you got an 0-2 team. Keep them down. Keep them down. Don't let them go right down the field and get confidence and then go 3 and out and they're trash talking on both sides of the ball. You're just inviting trouble at that point. And that's why you have to come out with an intensity and not wait to get punched in the mouth, but punch in the mouth. Take the first shot. Peyton wins the toss and says, give me the damn ball. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. And then he goes right down the field. I'm like, oops. That should have been your, if you're a defensive player and they go, and they take the ball instead of defer, you should be, the hair should stand up on the back of your neck and go, oh, okay, all right. And then you let them go right down the field for an opening touchdown. And that was meh. So let's just not do that against the Eagles. And they'll be ready to play, right? There's just a different tone. There'll be a different tone and a different feeling to this game. But again, You can't do that in the NFL. You got to be ready to play every freaking week and take care of business, and they didn't do that. All right, let's get to some comments since everybody's kind of Bucks focused. James said, no reason for players to talk about the crowd. 1:00 on Sunday. I know going to that game wasn't on my top of 10 list. Anyway, I predicted 12 wins, but if this BS play is what we get, that prediction is laughable. Yeah, that's why I told you. It was laughable from the beginning. Winning 12 games. Old Zach Jarvis, what's up? Said UPS is going to make us deliver packages, and I work on Indian Rock Speed. Not tomorrow. Today, maybe. Today's going to be a nice day. Today's not, it's not going to get nasty until a little bit later. But tomorrow? Wow, okay. Michael Sorgel says, in my opinion, Eagles defense isn't that good, but they are tough. They are really tough. How about Barkley? Pretty good against Aints, and Brown is still injured. Yeah, all those things, Michael. Yeah, that Eagles defense can be had. Look, the Bucs scored what in the playoffs? It's a little bit of a different defense. By the way, is Devin White playing? Subtext. I hope so.
I think he will, right? For the first time this year.
I hope so. I really do. I hope he starts.
Because they're picking his brain in the meeting rooms. It doesn't mean he knows anything, but they're trying.
I hope they are.
But they're trying.
Because whatever he's going to tell them, it's not like he knows anything. Like he he ever watched film or anything.
They're going to go, hey, can you tell
us about the run game?
He's going to go,
I don't know. I can't get off a block. What does it matter?
He's going to say, is this a party? Why are we all meeting together here right now? What is this? We never did this in Tampa.
Do I get to play this week? Do I have to know the plays? How does that work? James says, seems when Bucks have things going, they crushed by injury. Could have been back-to-back Super Bowls, but Godwin and Tristan late in the season, secondary early made it impossible. And now both DTS and Winfield, yeah, and it's more. But that's life in the NFL. This is why you should have depth, and your coaches have to coach around the injuries. That's what good coaches do.
Yeah.
Greg DeCruz joining us from Costa Rica said, weird question. Is protecting Baker worth tailoring back the offense, even if it means potentially losing the one game? Without Baker, this team is toast. I think, if you can't protect your quarterback, you can't throw the ball down the field. It's sometimes you can max protect and only put 3 guys into the target. When you have 3 receivers like the Bucs have, they should still be able to beat coverage. And if you max protect, and a lot of play callers don't like to do it because the X's and O's don't work. You're asking your players to win, and you're counting on them to win. OCs want to scheme guys open. That's what they're always thinking. When they can't scheme them open, they feel like, okay, well, then go beat them. Well, that's their job. That's Mike Evans' job, is to beat a guy one-on-one. Chris Godwin's job is to beat a guy and get that, you don't need to be 8 yards open. Give him a yard. He should be able to, Baker, when protected, should be able to hit him because he's a good, accurate passer. So, max protect works. It works. And if you can't protect, you got to go to it. Stop depending on guys that can't do what you're asking them to do because it ain't working. Okay, what else do we have here that I wanted to get to? Michael Sorgel says, I forgot about Devin White.
Good for you.
Emotions. Yeah, don't forget about that. And James brings up a good point. Eagles, Falcons on a short week, then Ravens. That's why this loss hurts the most. Yeah, it's true. But look, everybody has to deal with it, travel and all that stuff. So thanks for the comments, guys, and we'll get to more comments as we go through the show. So big week for your Buccaneers. All right, we're going to talk USF football with our friend Leo Haggerty, but first we're going to take a break. Our first break brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Leo doesn't have to run out today since media days were canceled, so he can hang around with us for a little while and talk some USF football. The Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. My man Scott Jeeves will help you out. I'll give you a free case evaluation. If you get in an accident, to go right to your phone, Jeeves Law Group. Call them, and they will take care of you. Make sure you're well represented. The Jeeves Law Group, back in 3. Stay with us. September is here, and it's time to celebrate with the stunning birthstone of the month. It's Sapphire at the Gold and Diamond Source. Known for their natural beauty and glamorous allure, Sapphire's truth, sincerity, and faithfulness make it the perfect stone for September. During the 40th anniversary, you can find a special selection of this precious gemstone, from stunning rings and necklaces to elegant earrings and bracelets. Steve Weintraub handpicks every piece for its brilliance and its quality. The expert staff will help you find the perfect gift, whether it's for a loved one, a special occasion, or just to treat yourself. Visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, where you'll always find the perfect gift. It's more than jewelry, it's love. At the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance, make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez in Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Tarpon Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this hump day with Jimmy Costume joining us here. Got another big weekend of college football to get to, and the USF Bulls will start their conference play against another team that's been mentioned as a possible playoff contender, the Tulane Green Wave. And to chat it all up, our good man Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports joins us here. He covers USF. What's up, Leo? How are you?
He's in the building! Not much, JP. I'm hanging in there, waiting for this hurricane to come and clear through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, batten down the hatches, make sure everybody's okay, get your sandbags ready. But this shouldn't affect the game at all, right? South Florida is Their game preps. They'll go indoors tomorrow, I'm guessing. They'll fly out fine, barring any catastrophic damage to the airport or anything. They should be all right to get to Tulane for a noon start on Saturday, correct?
Correct. The only way this will change is this puppy takes a quick left and starts heading toward Louisiana, which it doesn't look like it's going to do. The only game change, interestingly enough, for South Florida was the advance crew that normally goes out on Thursday. They're going to go out today. So,
Okay.
and that's a smart move. Get that 18-wheeler on the road and go from there. But
All the equipment there, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to go back to Sam Pittman's comment after Arkansas lost a non-conference game. He said it's not a conference game, and that's all that matters. Right now, it's the race for 8 for all these teams in the AAC.
Yeah.
Get to the playoff, because then you got a shot. And believe me, this team does have a shot. Now, I asked D. Hawthorne yesterday, the defensive tackle, I said, D, if somebody just watched the first half of Alabama and Miami, they thought you're a really good football team. Now, if they just watched the second half of both, they're wondering what's all the hype about.
Right.
Now, who's going to show up, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde? Which got a laugh out of him. He said, we got to show up, and that's huge.
Yeah. Listen, those two games, I think, proved to the USF and their fans and everybody else that they can play with anybody. They did. I mean, they took Alabama to the fourth quarter on the road. And then, Miami, they played heads up with Miami. They had the lead in the second quarter. I mean, that's meaningful. I don't think FSU would have had those results, for damn sure. So USF is a good football team. They should be able to stay with a team like Tulane. Oddly enough, Tulane is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, Leo. What's going on there?
Well, Tulane's got the same thing as USF does. They lost 2 games, Kansas State and Oklahoma.
Yep.
And they won their other 2. They're 2-2. So, and again, the hardest thing to handicap right now for Vegas is the first 4 games of the NFL and the NCAA.
Oh, God, yeah.
You don't know what you have. I'll tell you one thing I know you have, and I said on your show, Miami's going to the NCAA finals.
Yeah, I believe they're going to win the A's.
Oh, yeah. They're probably going to end up play Clemson, but I'll tell you what, Miami is big, strong, fast, tough, mean, and nasty, and they showed it Saturday night. That's Cam Ward makes that team complete.
Yeah, he's really good, very composed. But I thought South Florida played well, especially in that first half. Came out with the little Philly special there to score the touchdown. That was nicely executed. They matriculated the ball down the field quite well against Miami. And, to me, it was the big play right before the half that gave Miami the 2-score. I literally said this to my buddy as we were sitting there. I said, they can't give up a cheapie here. And as cheapie came out of my mouth, that guy was running down the sideline wide open for Miami, heading for the end zone.
And you know what, I leaned over to Peter Blake, and I said, this is amazing. I think that's the first time they played zone the whole first half. It looked like, single free high. Almost every play they play zone, and, man, this guy goes down the sideline, and he is wide open.
Yeah, they just let him loose.
And what really took the air out of the sails is when they missed the field goal. The worst thing is they made it, and there was a procedure penalty. Then he missed it. And, again, it was like you could see it. When they come out the second half, didn't get a score, and Miami marched down the field, it was less Katie Barnes.
Well, what was weird about that? It's so USF's using 2 kickers, right? So they got Cannon for the shorter ones, and then the young Grammatica for the long ones. And he hit what? A 58 and a 52, right?
Yes.
So he hit 2 over 50. So Cannon comes out for what's going to be what, a 42-yard field goal?
Yeah.
And he makes it. They have the procedure. So now it's 47. Does that cross the line of demarcation where we go to the deep kicker? Now you don't want to run the new guy on, right? Because now you've had that was a weird situation, right? Did Alex talk about that at all? Is 50 yards the demarcation? How did that work?
Yeah, he did. In fact, that's it. But at JP, a lot of people can't see this, but being in the press box, you can see it. Grammatica is a line drive kicker. When you watch the 2 of them warm up, He is a long distance guy, but he doesn't get a lot of height right now.
Right.
Cannon gets a lot of height, and that's what you want when you're kicking, 40, 45 in. You want to get that thing up in the air in a hurry.
Right.
Grammatica, great leg, but it's not as high.
Yeah,
and we can sit there. It is obvious in the press box who gets the most lift on a kick, and it's Cannon.
Yeah. And he's a good kicker too. As I know some people were bitching like, why are we playing musical kickers? Like there's a reason for it. And it's a good reason. And they should do that. I think that's the right thing to do. It just, penalties. You can't have penalties like that against good teams. If you're going to upset a team that you're a heavy underdog for, you can't have those penalties.
Especially pre-snap, JP. You can't do that. And you can't have alignment mistakes on defense. That's the key. And you know what? All this proved to people is that USF doesn't have the depth right now to go toe for toe with the Power 5 week in and week out. They've got the 11 on each side of the ball. They've got that. But when they wear down, they still drop off a little bit. Alabama and Miami, all they do is put in their 5-star guy that maybe a tenth of a second slower or 10 pounds lighter. That's the difference. Is when they get to the third and fourth quarter. And Alabama, and this is why I think Miami's better than Alabama. Alabama wore out USF. Miami beat up USF. And that's the big difference, is that Miami defense. And, it's funny because I mentioned this on your show last week. What do you think Miami's going to do when they get behind for the first time? And they did 15-14, 2 plays later they're ahead. So, that answered that question in a hurry, right?
Yeah, what are they going to do? Take the lead again quickly. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So Byram went out of that game, but probably could have come back in. I think it was a good decision to keep him out at that point. Lose the battle, win the war. But he should be good to go this week. Did he suffer any type of serious injury?
No, nothing serious. He was back at practice on Tuesday. And Coach Goalies basically illuminated us on that he probably could have gone back in, but you don't want a Pyrrhic victory, win the battle and lose the war, because let's be honest, if you want to losing to Alabama and Miami doesn't hurt you as much if you lose to Tulane. This is where, let's be honest, these count. These are the ones that are going to get you into a bowl game and possibly as that, group of 5 team that, can get into that final 12.
Yeah. Leo Haggerty joining us here from Amped Up Sports. So Tulane loses to Kansas State 34-27 at home. So close game against Kansas State, who then lost last week to Finding Scott Reynolds. And then Oklahoma, they go to Oklahoma and lose 34-19 a few weeks ago, and then come home against the Raging Cajuns and win 41-33. So they've scored 52, 27, 19, and 41 points. And that 19 comes against a very good Oklahoma defense. 41 points. So they can score the football. They're explosive. They're freshman quarterback. Yes, you can play freshman quarterback, by the way. FSU. Darian Mensah, if I'm saying that correctly, has 6 big-time throws. He will throw the ball down the field, but also has 6 turnover-worthy plays. He will let you catch the ball as well. So, to me, this is this is an easy kind of deal. You get after the freshman quarterback, and he's going to make some plays, but hopefully he turns the ball over a little bit. Is that the plan?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, the bottom line starts with a pass rush.
Yep.
And you know what? The problem was South Florida was getting a pass rush against Miami, but the biggest problem was they weren't getting home.
Right.
That Cam Ward. And again, I preached to everybody. I said, I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching this guy play at Washington State. I knew what Miami was getting. You put him at Florida State right now, they're probably 3-1.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole difference. They want to run an offense that's conducive to Cam Ward's talent. Miami is
4-0, by the way. If there'd be 4-0. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, probably. Yeah. Yeah. That loss to Memphis is a tough one. But and you know what? They got to go to SMU this week. That's even worse. That may get ugly. But when you see Cam Ward, that's the missing piece of the puzzle in Miami. And JP, let's jump to FSU. Is it time to make a change at quarterback?
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that. I've been talking about that all week, Leo. Yeah, that's not even a question. By the way, that's not even a question. The question is, why is Mike not pulling him? Like, what is in the dude's NIL contract? Because it can't be football related. Cannot be football related. They've never seen a quarterback in an offense this bad. Like, they rank almost dead last in FBS in almost every offensive category because you're playing a quarterback that doesn't fit your system. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. And and Brock is not. We've seen Brock play. He can play. Play better than DJ. I mean, DJ, you just can't play worse. Don't get me started. Bottom line is, you can take quarterbacks out, and freshman quarterbacks can play. You're seeing it at Tulane. You're seeing it all over the nation. And, you just got to give guys a shot. If it ain't working, you got to make a move. But this Tulane game, I think it comes down to, and this is what USF has preached all along, right? It's about us. It's about USF. Don't make stupid mistakes. Don't penalize yourself. Use your ground game, which is, I think they can move the ball against Tulane's defense. I think that's pretty, especially on the ground, and control the game. I think that's a way. And 6.5-point underdogs, man. I'm going to play USF this week. No question about it.
Oh, I don't blame you. That's a good move. The funny thing, JP, is, we sit here being football guys and we say, on defense, you want to stop the run and make a team one-dimensional. Take away that 91-yard run by Miami. USF did stop the run. Maybe last week was the time you wanted to make them run the football, because I tell you what, Cam Ward just sat there, and this may be the same thing down at Tulane. You may want to try to take away the pass, put some pressure on this kid.
Yeah.
Show him some things they didn't, do something that the Bucs didn't do against a rookie quarterback last Sunday.
Right.
And, get after him. Get him
Make
off
it
the
difficult.
spot. Yeah, and again, I preach this to anybody who'd listen, because, Ron Jaworski has tutored me on this. There's two things you want to remember about a quarterback. How you stop him? You get color in his face. You come up the middle. Because that way, if somebody's coming on the edge, he can't step up. The second thing, if a quarterback can throw it where he wants to, when he wants to, and to whom he wants to, you're going to get beat. You've got to make it uncomfortable. Because if you get no pass rush, those secondary people, they're just going to get picked apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Leo Haggerty joining us here today. So we got to talk a little bit about Sean Atkins. 11 catches, 125, and a tutty against Miami. That's a pretty good game. Now, I'm not going to say it was because he came on the JP Peterson show last week, but clearly that was the reason. But, man, how about a little tip of the cap to that young man? Fall 5'9", 170 of him.
You know what, JP? I'm hoping that Brian Segrist out at USF and his compadres are putting him in for the Bullsworth Award, which, if people are not aware of, that's the most exceptional
walk-on,
non-scholarship player, the walk-on guy. Bullsworth was the walk-on lineman at Arkansas that ended up an All-American and tragically died in a car wreck. He was the number 1 pick by the Colts and died in a car wreck coming home from Arkansas to get ready to go up to Indianapolis to start his pro career. So that award's named after him. But I'll tell you what, this is a complete player. It's funny because somebody asked him, why do you wear 38? I said, that's the number I got. And I want to remember where I came from.
Yeah.
And this kid, the fact that, I think they targeted him 14 times and he had 11 catches and threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Threw a touchdown pass on the Philly special. I forgot about that. It's a pretty good game.
And catches every punt. He fumbled once, I think, against Navy, and that was it. But for 2 years, he's been, Mr. Reliable back there on punt returns.
All right. Well, what do you say, Leo? Yeoman Stadium, that's Tulane's new on-campus stadium. Kind of cool. Really cool. They don't play in the dome anymore, which is really nice. It's got I'm looking at a picture of it right now. Very, it's not as nice as what USF's putting up, but it's a very cozy, intimate, nice, probably about 25, 30,000. Weather should be good. They're saying 77 and sunny on Saturday. Huge game for USF. By the way, you can see it on ESPNU. I think I got to pick USF in this one. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer, but I think the Bulls get this done. I think they're just a better overall team than Tulane. What do you think?
All it falls on 17, JP. Byron, he's got to have a great game. He's got to not only do it with his legs, he's got to do it with his arm. And this team has got to keep Tulane off the field. They have to sustain drives, and they have to finish drives. They can't just finish drives with field goals. And again, what are we going to see? We're going to see the offense that, scored less than 20 points against Alabama and Miami. Or we're going to see the offense that dropped almost a 50-burger on Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss. It's going to be fun to watch. The big thing Coach Goley said, we get to play at noon finally. We don't have to sit around and wait. That's huge, JP. You and I know as a player, the worst thing that can happen is you sit there and just wait. You're ready to get up. Let's play football.
Yeah, I don't know. I love, as a fan, I love the night games, but I can understand why, kids, coaches want to get it going, right? Coaches want to get up and get it going. They don't want to sit there second guessing their game plan all day.
And JP, did you like the college atmosphere Saturday night?
It was nice. It was really good. I thought they did a tremendous job. The atmosphere was great. I was a little surprised there weren't more fans there. Like the upper deck on the visiting side was closed. Of course, they opened the upper deck on the home side. Now I couldn't see that, like how full that was.
It was about half to 2/3 filled.
Yeah,
I went down on the field right afterwards. Yeah,
and it was loud. They did, there was a nice atmosphere in the first half. I thought it was a real home field advantage. It was just great to see a big time college football atmosphere in Tampa. I love it, and we need more of it. And once they get the on campus stadium, it's going to feel even better out there because you're going to have real, big time college football. Because I think they will be moving into the ACC in the next couple of years. I think they're going to move into a P4 or P2, whatever it's going to be. I think USF has put themselves at the table that they're big enough and good enough and have enough going for them as an institution that they belong with the upper echelon, whatever that's going to look like, and I think it's great that we're going to have that moving forward. If you have that in your community, that you can have big time college football, that's just a great thing. Because that's, to me, obviously the NFL is king, but the second biggest sport in America is college football. It's not baseball. It's not NBA. It's not hockey. It's by a large margin college football. And that's great for this area.
It's really 1 and 1A.
It really is.
Whatever has football behind it. JP, I think what USF is looking to do, and if the Big 12 doesn't see this, they're blind. With all their conference realignments and, coast to coast, the Big 12 should be begging South Florida to come in because now you've got UCF right down the road. These non-revenue sports can get a travel partner. They can come in and play a baseball game or a basketball game or a soccer game. They could play it in Tampa, bus down to Orlando, and fly out. Boom. One plane trip covers 2 games. But yeah, I think the Pac-12 was not something they wanted to get involved in. That's just too much travel.
Didn't make any sense. And I'm so glad they didn't jump at the opportunity, which further shows you, in case you didn't know, you have a serious professional heading your college athletics department in Michael Kelly. He knows what the hell he's doing. And you're in good hands. And you're in good hands. Don't worry about a thing.
And he's got a president that's listening. That's huge.
Yes. Yeah. I got to throw this out because it is a breaking story, sort of, and it is a groundbreaking story in college football. It involves, I'm not sure if you've seen this, UNLV quarterback Matt Sluka, who has announced last night on his social media that he is going to redshirt and is going to transfer because UNLV did not fulfill name, image, and likeness promises that were made. So you have a contract dispute, the first of its kind in college football. UNLV is 3-0. The 6'3" quarterback has thrown for 318 yards and 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. I mean, wow. That's just a wow. And who is the idiot at UNLV that is not paying this kid?
Well, here's the thing, JP. On your coaching staff, Michael Kelly, great. Get a great head coach. Get a great in football, basketball, women's basketball. Your next priority is to find an NIL guy who knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And to make sure these things don't happen at your place. Because JP, are you surprised with all the movement in that and all the promises made? I think, didn't the Florida quarterback 2 years ago decommit because all of a sudden what they
Oh
promised?
yeah, now he has a lawsuit against the University of Florida and their coach, Billy Napier. So maybe Billy Napier's $26 million buyout, half of it would be eaten up in a settlement, which I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think college coaches can be held liable for implied contracts in NIL. It's called recruiting. So I don't think he's going to win that, but who freaking knows, right?
Yeah, you better have something on paper.
That's right.
It's not on paper. It's just,
and evidently he did have some stuff on paper. And this is weird. Like if you're going to commit to a team like UNLV and you were made promises, like who's advising you that you did not get that in writing in a form of an NIL contract? I mean, that's silly. And again, if you're UNLV, how the hell do you let this happen? For $100,000 I think is what he's talking about. They're not going to, they're off to a 3-0 start. And this kid looks like he's a huge part of it. Hello? I don't know.
Man, let's hope there wasn't gambling money behind that and they had money on, let's say, Cincinnati or San Francisco last weekend, right?
Yeah, well, then that,
when you're in Vegas, you got to worry about where that money's coming from.
Carl Reed Jr., college football analyst for 247 Sports, posted on X, all financial commitments for UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka were completely met. But after wins against KU and Houston, Sluka's family hired an agent, and they collectively feel that his market value has increased. So he wants more money, according to this source. So he's coming back to the bargaining table and asking for more money after he had a couple of wins. Well, under that premise, can we not go to DJU and say, hey, give me the money back? Let's go. Is this performance-based? Let's get a little refund and redirect to Brock.
Unfulfilled contract, right?
Wow. And here we are in college football, Leo.
It's crazy. It is literally crazy. And again, I'm going to go back to the Oregon quarterback. 24 hours after, less than 24 hours after, he lost his last game. He played his last game at Oklahoma. He's out at Oregon. Do you not think there's tampering involved?
God, yeah.
Could somebody just admit that this is the wild, wild west and it's a free-for-all? The NCAA has just punched his pilot at this, washed his hands of it, and said, hey, go to it, guys. We're not
they did prosecute one situation at FSU with Coach Atkins.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's kind of like the old days when Oklahoma was caught cheating.
So they prosecuted one NIL case, one case, and it was against who? Florida State. Because a coach did what everybody else is doing, and FSU willingly accepted that punishment, which I think is ridiculous. But whatever.
It's the Wild West in college football now, for sure. Because I'm just wondering about these guys that play, at 2, 3, or 4 institutions in their collegiate career. What does their closet look like? How many Letterman jackets do they got? Where are they going on homecoming? This is crazy.
It's weird. But this is this new thing with this quarterback at UNLV is groundbreaking. So now it's like he said he wants more money, which sounds probably a little bit more plausible than UNLV not paying $100,000. Why would they not? That's nothing in this game.
Well, see, the funny thing is, JP, who's got the leverage now? The quarterback says, okay, give me the money, or I'm going in the portal.
He does. The player has all the leverage.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's where I feel sorry for teams like USF, Tulane, and Memphis, and all those guys that are really good, but not in the Power 4, the Power 5, whatever you want to call it now. Because basically, you're the minor leagues.
Yeah.
If somebody goes and really has an outstanding season, he's got to go in the portal just to see what his worth is. Then you go from there. It's just.
And by the way, it's with the coaches too. It's always been with the coaches. If Alex Golish wins the AAC this year, he's going to be at the top of the list for every major job. Yeah. And then, you got to go find somebody new. So this is why Michael Kelly knows he's got to get this this team, this program into a P4 situation or P2 situation, whatever it's going to be. You have to position yourself and be aggressive and let the cards fall where they may. And he's done that. He's positioned them as good as he possibly can. Now, the only thing left was winning football games, and now Alex Golesh is taking care of that. So they're in good position. They're in really good position and at the right time.
You know what? And JP, even last year, but 2 years ago, after 4 games, we would be sitting talking about, hey, can't wait for women's basketball. Can't wait for men's basketball. Can't wait for the Lightning to open up in October. Now, hey.
We got college football to talk about.
And it's
That's
relevant.
why this game is so huge. They've got to stay up in front of the conference standings where who's leading? Army and Navy. Army and Navy leading the AAC, undefeated.
And I'll tell you what, if you've seen Army and Navy play this year.
Navy just handed it to Memphis.
Oh, my
who
God.
beat FSU.
Yeah.
Not that that's a big deal.
Yeah. And it's just that when you look at what they're doing, it ain't your mom and dad's and grandma and grandpa's Army and Navy team.
No.
They are becoming so multifaceted on offense that and guess what? They're getting athletes.
Yeah.
They're getting athletes. I mean, if I watch the end of that Memphis game, that safety comes in, makes the interception, and goes like 75, 80 yards. They didn't have a guy in their roster
That
2
was going
years
to catch
ago.
him. Yeah.
Now, whoa, man. This Navy game coming up, and hey, catch this, JP. Guess who Army doesn't play this year?
Navy?
Memphis USF.
Tulane,
They may have a nice road in to the AAC final.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, and
Leo Haggerty bringing the information.
But I got a better one for you. If Army and Navy finishes in the top 2, guess what? The Army-Navy game does not become a conference game. They are going to play in the AAC game the week before and then the Army-Navy game the week after. Is that crazy or what?
That is bizarre. But welcome to the world of college football as it stands now.
And, Army-Navy's never moving off of that, third Saturday in
Well,
December.
I hope not. I mean, if we screw that up, then we, just.
Oh, yeah. And you and I enjoyed going to Philadelphia, seeing each other.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. It is what a spectacle. I've been to that game 3 times now, and it's incredible. It's a bucket list thing. You got to go. It is absolutely incredible. Now you got 2 really good football teams. The game actually matters again, like it did back in the 40s. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, Leo, tell everybody how they can get your content, my friend.
Hey, go to Amped Up Sports on Facebook. We're all over the place. Had a nice time at the Lightning last night. Yeah, I know it was a preseason game, but got a couple questions in with Coach Cooper. And
cool.
Yeah, it was fun to be there. It was a sparse crowd in the interview room, JP. It was only like 3 of us. So it was.
Yeah, I don't do preseason, my friend.
But I'll tell you what. I wrote a column, which you may want to watch. I'm saying it's the post number 91 era for the Bolts. All right.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
On Amped Up Sports. Thanks, partner. Appreciate you.
Talk to you next Wednesday, buddy.
USF Tulane. All righty.
I told you SMU wasn't that bad. Leo's got a higher opinion of SMU than Pat does, for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at SMU's numbers. They look legit. They look like they look better than Florida State.
Right.
Sure.
That's the definition of legit these days, huh?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go ahead and rotate back over to the Buccaneers as our man Scott Reynolds is joining us here from the Pewter Report. What's up, Scotty? How are you?
Good. How are you doing, guys?
Good. I was just looking at the supposed injury report that will be out at the end of this day, and I don't know whose is going to be longer, the Bucs or the Eagles. But I mean, we're concerned about the Bucs, but the Eagles is maybe worse than the Bucs. With Lane Johnson, I think is going to be on there. Devontae Smith will be on there. Who else is going to be on there? The Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, he's got
both of their tackles. Yeah. AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's listen. If you're the Eagles, you just run the ball because you don't really have the wide receivers to throw to. I mean, Dallas Goedert's going to get his play for sure. But this is a game where it's just going to be like 1990s football. I think they're going to try to run Saquon Barkley. He has scored the majority of their touchdowns so far, and I think they've scored 8 touchdowns, and he has 5 of them, if my memory serves me correctly. So they're going to lean on that, and why wouldn't you? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably going to be without Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey. I think that they're going to try to get them back for the Falcons game.
Wow.
Maybe one comes back, but I mean, if you're Philly, even without Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, you just run the ball right up the middle of the Buccaneers and hope that Levante David and KJ Britt and Servassier Dennis don't fill those gaps, because the defensive line last week was just absolutely exposed. Talking about CJ Brewer, Mike Green, Greg Gaines, Will Golston, none of those guys really did anything of note. None of them had a pressure up the middle. And Denver's offensive line is not as good as Philly's, and they still ran for 130 some yards. So I'm very concerned about this for Tampa Bay's defense. Todd Bowles really needs to come out with a 5-man front. You can throw Logan Hall in the mix too. He didn't do anything.
No,
so
none of them.
I mean, Logan Hall didn't do anything,
JTS.
so much so that I forgot.
Don't forget the forgettable JTS.
Yeah,
who had no pressures and twice as many snaps as Braswell. At least Braswell had a couple of pressures and half the snaps. But I mean, that was a whole lot of nothing up front, which begs the question, Scott, when you're not, and part of the reason they didn't get any pressure because the ball was out so quick.
Oh yeah,
because nobody was covering the wide receivers. Off the line. I mean, they just ran 3 yards, turned around, caught a ball, and fell forward for 7 yards. 2nd and 3. Let's go.
So the first 2 plays of the game, Todd Bowles comes out and press man.
Yes.
And Jamel Dean gets beat for 22 yards by Cortland Sutton. A little push off there at the end.
Yeah,
and
happens.
Zion McCollum got caught looking inside, missed his jam, and was a step behind Josh Reynolds, 31-yard catch. And whether it was the corners or Bowles or both, they almost kind of ceased playing press man after that and started giving cushion, playing quarters. That's exactly what Bo Nix and Sean Payton wanted them to do.
Exactly.
Give them these short throws. And I get Todd Bowles doesn't want to give up the big play, but again, how do you want to die? Do you want to die quick and fast, or do you want to die with 1,000 cuts? And they died either way. So I'm of the opinion you try to continue to play press man. You trust in Zion and Jamel. And maybe they didn't trust themselves. Maybe and we'll find out today when we talk to Bowles more about this. Was those guys kind of disobeying the orders and playing off too far, or were they just kind of ordered to play more soft zone coverage? It didn't work. Played right into Denver's hands and allowed for that quick game, which allowed Denver's offensive line to hold up and not have to block long. Therefore, no pressures and no sacks. So.
Either way, you give up one big play a series, or you give up 10 to 12 little plays per series. It doesn't matter. You've got to have some balance on defense, and you can't show the offense, especially a rookie quarterback who's done nothing up until this point, the same look every single series and every single down, to where he figures you out so fast, and you don't change things up. That happens. That's the final score, and it's maddening sometimes. The Bucs aren't the only team that does that, but it's maddening.
No, it is, and again, it's like you're not allowing your playmakers to make plays. You're not allowing Jamel or Zion the chance to have an interception because they're playing so far off that they've got to literally come up and make the tackle. They're not in position to come up and make a play on the ball because the ball's already caught by the time they get there.
Right.
And so therefore, because of those quick passes, you don't have a pass rush. And therefore, you're allowing a quarterback who is completing around 53% of his passes to complete 69% and get him into rhythm and have him continue to be in rhythm. I will give Sean Payton credit. He broke tendency on those first 2 plays. They were not expecting those deep shots because coming into the game, Bo Nix had completed something like 36% of his passes beyond 5 yards, 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. So I think the Buccaneers were thinking he's going to want to have these short passes. We're going to play tight. We're going to make him hold on to the ball, whatever. He just decides to let it go, and both of those receivers made plays.
Right.
And it
good
just
throws, really good throws.
And whether it was just the shockwave of that hitting the corners or hitting Todd Bowles, the play caller, they just got kind of scared from that from now
How
on.
do you
And
abandon your game plan?
Josh
2 plays
Reynolds is not that good. Cortland Sutton's not that good. These are not Tyreek Hill type receivers where you
Jalen
have
Waddle, no.
we have to worry about getting beat, down the field for an 80-yard touchdown with one of these guys. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was a complete mystery.
Yeah.
And offensively, when I looked at the tape, I saw Baker Mayfield
Terrible
not pull the trigger a couple times when he had Evans open, had guys open, didn't pull the trigger, and it was because he was getting, for last week he got pressure up the middle quickly, and again this week, he tried to step up. There was nowhere to go because Cody Mock's whiffing, Bredeson's whiffing. The inside pressure is too much. Yeah. And suddenly you get an offensive line that is terrible at right tackle. Yeah. Hopefully Gedeke gets back. The right guard is now struggling. Yeah. You got a rookie center who's probably playing better than any of them. Yeah. The left guard's not great. And then the left tackle appears to be hurt. I mean, yikes. What the hell's going on up front?
Yeah. And as I was told too, and we kind of reported this last night, there's a report out there that Luke Gedeke will play in the game on Sunday and that he's cleared concussion protocol. That's not the case. It is not the case. He is cleared to resume non-contact practice. And that means he's allowed to come to practice, wear the black jersey, don't hit me, which means he's not going to be involved in any of the offensive line play at all. It's not like you're a receiver where you can run around and they can't touch you during practice. It's a collision every single down in the trenches. So Luke Gedeke, outside of walkthroughs, is not going to be able to participate with the offensive line because now they don't go full speed during practice. It's not like, full on like in a game, but he's not allowed to have any contact with his helmet. So he's not going to be practicing. If he practices, it will be limited and he'll be able to do individual drills and calisthenics and all that stuff, but he's not going to be able to take part in team until he passes a couple of more hurdles. So as I was told this morning, the team is hopeful he returns, but they're not counting on it. And now there's a chance he does play, but there's also a chance he doesn't play. And if he's cleared to, to participate in contact, let's say Thursday or Friday's practice, he's cleared. What they're going to do is they're going to go full at Luke Gedeke and bang his head a little bit and see if he has any of those concussion symptoms reoccur. And if that's the case, like we've seen it before, it happens not so often, but a player gets cleared, returns to practice, and then he's out for the game because he had symptoms reoccur. It's different with Zion McCollum because the amount of collisions he has are minimal. He might be in on a couple of tackles as we saw for that Lions game, right? But he's not in a head-on collision every single play like guys in the trenches are, defense and offensive linemen. So Luke Gedeke's not out of the woods yet. They're hopeful that he plays, but they're not counting on him playing because of the nature of his injury, concussion, and the nature of the position he plays, offensive line.
If he doesn't play, I know they mentioned that Hainsey's working at right tackle. He played there in college. He's obviously an experienced offensive lineman in this league at this point, has 30-some starts under his belt. What are the chances that he starts at right tackle instead of Schooley?
I don't know. I'm not sure. School didn't play terrible.
School
on
or
Sunday.
Schooley? I've heard
School.
Tristan
Tristan Wirfs calls him Schooley, like
a nickname.
Like a nickname, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's School. And as in he got schooled by Aiden Hutchinson in week 2.
Too soon.
Yeah. So, but he didn't play like that bad. He didn't play as bad against the Broncos as he did against
I agree.
If you watch the film, the sack that he allows or gives up, it's really Baker Mayfield literally running into the guy.
Yeah.
So Baker's got to play better. It's just and I'll tell you what too, the disappointing thing is, and I think this might be the fatal flaw of this Buccaneer team. We've talked about it before. There's no Ryan Jensen on this team. There's no Jason Pierre-Paul. There's no Ndamukong Suh. There's no Tom Brady. The two fire starters, right? Because we heard about this on Sunday. The Broncos came in, they punched the Bucs in the mouth, and the Bucs didn't punch back.
That's right.
And the two guys that you kind of look for out there on the field to be the intensity guys to like rally the troops and let's do this. Baker Mayfield on offense, who played horribly. So you can't talk and rally the guys when you're playing like absolute shit.
Right.
Okay. And then Jordan Whitehead, who had an awful game, terrible game by Whitehead. Missed a couple of tackles. The 4th and 1 touchdown, he gets blocked 6 yards into the end zone by a tight end.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you're Jordan Whitehead and you're making more money than the backup tight end, like you got to beat the block and you got to make the tackle.
Nobody saw that because Nelson was getting his jock handed to him, and KJ Britt was taking a horrible angle.
Correct. Well, you didn't see Jordan Whitehead because he was literally blocked out of the screen by the tight end.
That's
you
right.
know, and it's at some point in time, it's one-on-one football. You have to beat your guy and make a play. That's just it. And so that didn't happen. So the problem is and you've seen this from watching football. And when you're on the sidelines at any level, I saw it in Pop Warner. There were some games, we usually had a really good team. There were some games where all of a sudden it's ugly early. And guys are looking around like, are you going to make a play? Like, who's making the play, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the Spider-Man.
You're trying to hide.
It's everyone's pointing at each other instead of like somebody stepping up and making the play.
Right.
So again, the leaders, the vocal leaders are those two guys. Now, KJ Britt is the leader. You know, before the game, he's the rah-rah guy. I don't know. The Bucs always seem to pick terrible guys. Jameis Winston, Devin White, right? You know, can we just say KJ Britt's not the best inside linebacker on this team? It's Levante David, and Levante's showing his age, by the way. This is not vintage Levante we're seeing.
Yeah, true.
And Servassier Dennis is better than KJ Britt. He's been better for 3 weeks. He just is. Todd Bowles is going to continue to rotate. Whatever, Todd, it's your defense. You get to make the call. Servassier Dennis is the better linebacker.
Yeah.
He's better than KJ Britt. So, and if you don't think the players don't know that, they like KJ, they respect him, but it's not like he's Hardy Nickerson out there, right, where all the troops are going to follow KJ Britt. So they've got a little bit of a fire starter problem because they just don't have.
So that's your reasoning for the team being flat?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with the preparation of the week?
No, I don't. I think the mentality of this team was, and Zion said it perfectly after the game. The Bucs were happy all week. They beat the Lions.
That's what
the Broncos were pissed off all week because they.
Well, that's preparation. Stop being happy.
Preparation
Go to work.
Preparation is. Are you focused on the details? Or are you going to execute the game plan?
Game planning,
I think that was. I think that was well done by the Buccaneers. You know, I learned a lesson again
on Thursday indoors during the season. And I'm not saying Bill Parcells is the greatest coach of all time, but I'm just like, you know, you know how much I love Todd, but I do think he's soft on these guys. I think he's super.
He can
soft.
be, but
he
keep
gives
in
them
mind,
more time off
keep in
than
mind,
the freaking.
He's got a very banged up Buccaneer team right now. The last thing he needed was to have an intense practice on Wednesday or Thursday and lose another guy to an injury, whatever. So
that's true.
I think that was his mindset was like, hey, I'm not at full strength right now. I can't afford to lose anybody in practice just because we're ramping up the intensity. But I relearned a lesson because I thought the Bucs were going to come in and just steamroll the Broncos. And looking back in hindsight, you know, I was fooled. Everybody was.
Yeah,
but talent does not win games, right? It just doesn't. You can be a paper champion. The Buccaneers, look at the rosters. The Bucs are more talented than Broncos, but execution plus intensity beats talent every Saturday, Sunday,
more physical
Friday.
Team wins almost every single game.
Yeah.
And, you know,
they had the intensity. They had the intensity, and the Bucs didn't. And again,
and it was so obvious too, like just eye test. You see the white and the orange were just flying around.
Yep.
And the other and the Bucs were just you didn't see it. You just didn't see it.
You're the hammer or you're the nail in football, right? And the Broncos, it was 4 quarters of hammer, and the Bucs, it was 4 quarters of nail. And they kept waiting for something to happen. Yeah. So Levante David pops the ball out, Logan recovers it, right? And then you rip off a 32-yard run. And all of a sudden, there's a little bit of life, a little bit of spark, right? Because that's what they were waiting for. They're waiting for that. Then they finally punched the ball in, and that was it. There was no more answer on the defense. What was the defensive answer at that point, right before the half?
let's play super soft and just allow them to come down the field and give them a field goal. Just gift them. Like there was nothing on that. And you were just like, oh, and the Bucks were backing up and allowing 10, 11. It's like, do the math. They got a minute 30 or whatever it is to go down the field. That's the
time where you play press man.
Yes.
And you make Bo hold on to the ball.
Get back into the game.
And you
got 3 timeouts. Get a 3 and out. Let's go.
Maybe try to pressure the rookie quarterback a little bit.
Maybe try to pressure him. I like that, Tim. That's good.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
So we're moving on.
Only had a time machine to go back in time and like send that clip to Todd Bowles Saturday night and say, hey, pressure the rookie quarterback.
I feel like we shouldn't have to be the ones to tell Todd Bowles how to pressure a rookie quarterback.
I know. And I will say this too. Just like we came out and stated the obvious, Servassier Dennis is a better linebacker than KJ Britt. He's more athletic. He makes more plays, more of an impact. He's faster. Who are we kidding at this point?
I know where this is
Bucky
going.
Irving is the starting running back for this team.
Yes.
And I had the tweet out at the start of for all the coach speak about we're going to go with the hot hand from Liam Cohen and Todd Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. You didn't go with the hot hand. You went back to Rashad White and you went 3 and out. Right. The guy that had the 32-yard run that actually energized the building for like a minute. That the crowd was chanting Bucky.
Yeah.
They're trying to give you the answer to the test, Liam and Todd. The fans in attendance, the non-Broncos fans that were there, were trying to give you the answers to the test, right? It's kind of like the teacher who like knows that the class is not really picking up the material, but like needs to get the scores up so the teacher doesn't look bad and say, if I were you kids studying for this test, I would study page 72 really hard. There might be, I don't know, 3 or 4 questions from page 72. So when you're reading the chapter, spend some extra time on page 72, children. Kind of the same thing. Yeah. Bucky.
Sometimes the fans are right.
Sometimes
because
the
it's
fans
obvious.
Are right. So why, when you have a running back who's got 49 yards, 4 carries, averaging 12.3 yards per carry, do you not give him a touch on the first drive of the third quarter? If you want to score points, if you want to get back in the game, if you want to, energize the crowd again, get the crowd back into the game, right? Like rev up the team. Why don't you go to the guy who's the guy making the electric moves? It's Bucky Irving. Take away his 2 longest runs of the year, 31 yards against Washington, 32 yards against Denver. Take away his 2 biggest runs. He's still averaging 4 yards a carry. Okay. Now, take away Rashad White's 15-yard run, which is his longest of the season, which happened against the Broncos. Take that out, and his average drops to, I think, 1.7 yards per carry.
Jesus.
I mean, again, this isn't hard. Okay,
No.
I suck in math. I'm terrible at math. But I know that like 4 is a better number when it comes to rushing yard average than 1.7.
Yeah.
And then you factor in those big runs, right? And Rashad and Bucky, it's clear as day in terms of
why is the staff so entrenched at times to play guys that clearly everybody can see are not as good as other guys.
Yeah. Listen, Rashad White is an elite pass protector. I'll give him that. And in the second half, they were throwing the ball more. He's a bigger guy. He's really good at that. The line was not, doing a great job of pass protection. The Broncos knew that they were going to pass, right? It was kind of a perfect storm. So I get that. But Bucky is averaging 6.2 yards per carry. Rashad is averaging 2.1. That's literally 3 times as many yards on the ground. So I don't know. Maybe put Bucky out there and give him the ball. Maybe not make him pass protect. Maybe give him the ball to carry the ball and pick up 6 yards a carry.
And Bucky's got 2 plays of 20-plus yards, and White's got none.
Yeah. And by the way, he's also good at catching the football.
He is.
And there's one way you can beat a blitz is
screens.
Throw it over the top of them, let them come and screen pass to the little guy who then runs downfield.
Yeah. We've seen this before.
And Liam knows all this. But this is the weird thing. It's like, why are we not doing it? It's maddening.
Well, and imagine if Bucky Irving can do this behind this offensive line.
Yes.
That's not healthy.
Correct.
That clearly White can't do it behind. Think about when the offensive line is healthy and Bucky Irving's got actual holes to run through.
Yes.
How this
we saw that in week 1.
Right, we did.
Yeah.
So, go back in time to WD-40, right? The Thunder and Lightning backfield of work done Mike Allstott. Not a very good offensive line back then. They had two players. You had aging left tackle Paul Gruber, and you had aging center Tony Mayberry.
Mhm.
Okay, Mayberry is he was the first offensive lineman in Bucs history to be named to the Pro Bowl. It's criminal that Gruber never got a Pro Bowl nod, but he didn't. But Mayberry from 97, 98, and 99 was a Pro Bowl center, right? You've heard the expression from Gene Deckerhoff, start up the gut, right? Well, up the gut was behind Mayberry. So out of the five guys, they had two good ones, left tackle and center. The other guys, Jim Pine, Jason Odom, Jerry Wunsch, Frank Middleton, whatever. Right?
Wow, God.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you had an
Wunsch.
offensive line that literally had
Awesome.
two guys. And,
Yeah.
and Gruber was better at pass protection than run blocking. Having said all of that, Mike Allstott was big enough where he could blast through a crease and make his own hole.
Mm-hmm.
Warwick Dunn was tiny enough and agile enough to squirt through a hole.
And
that
had
wasn't
great
that big.
vision.
He did.
Great vision.
Bucky Irving is a Warwick Dunn type runner. He doesn't need a huge hole. He just needs a crevice, and he'll squirt right through and get a big gain. Rashad White is not Mike Allstott. He does not run with power. He is not a power back that can pave his own way and get 3 yards when there's really nothing to be gained. Allstott could because he had the power. So with Rashad White, he needs a clean hole to run through to pick up yards. He's deadly at the second and third level because he's big enough to take on linebackers and safeties, make you miss, whatever. That's why he's so effective
once
in
he gets
space
rolling
as a receiver.
Yeah.
But Bucky Irving needs to. And listen, for an offense that struggles on opening drives, hasn't scored a touchdown in 23 games. Maybe start him.
Wow. We're breaking new ground here on the JP Peterson Show. It's amazing what we come up with. All right. So as we look ahead to this Eagles game, the injury report's going to be huge, but more than that, there's got to be a return of intensity. There's got to be a return, and which I think in a game like this, Brady's going to be here this week, right? Will he get to talk to will he get some production meeting time, you think, with Baker? Will they discuss dirty balls, the plays, the team being under stress, being stressed out? Will this be discussed?
Maybe. Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah.
I want to be in that room.
Baker will tell right to his face and just say, dude, I'm just going by what I heard, man.
Right.
You weren't here last year. I was.
What do you want me to tell you? These are your boys, Not saying it didn't work, you had some success. I mean, it's probably not a bad leadership style. Work.
Baker's be like, hey, dude, I didn't get divorced my year in Tampa. You did. You're the one who caused the distraction, not me. So,
that one-on-one's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. So, I need to get out of here and get over to Bucks myself. So I know I'll see you over there. Tell everybody what's going on with Pewter Report this week. What you're going to have.
Got the podcast today, Bucks Eagles preview at 4:00 on Pewter Report TV. Plus, we're probably going to postpone our podcast on Thursday with the weather coming. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's a possible hurricane coming.
And we had one come through Frisco last night here in Dallas area.
Yeah. So, but you can find out all of our podcasts. We have the Pewter pregame show on Sunday at 9 a.m., followed by Pewter game day at 1 p.m. It's our live in-game analysis with Matt Matera and Josh Capo. That's all on Pewter Report TV. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us for all the latest injury news and locker room scoop, as well as our previews on pewterreport.com. And follow us on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
All right, Scotty. Thanks, buddy. By the way, hair looks great.
Yeah,
Kansas State does not.
Thank you. Damn right.
We got that in right at the very end.
And we don't have time to talk about Florida State because we got to go.
Okay, there you go. See you guys.
See you. Thanks, Scotty. All right, quick break. We need to get one more break in here.
Oh, I can't believe you did that to Scott.
What? Kansas State.
Yeah.
They've had a good run. Hope your quarterback quits and goes to FSU.
UNLV.
Well, can we pick up the UNLV guys? Can we offer them a little? Can we take?
Do you want them after that? What we just heard?
Whatever. They're all mercenaries. Take the DJU money away for lack of performance and give it to him for why? Well, why not? We're just making it both ways, right? We're just making it up as we go, right? What the hell? Who cares? Get him over there. All right, quick break. Back in 3 minutes, and we'll wrap things up. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, well, welcome back. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and Italiano Insurance, the Golden Diamond Source, the Geddes Gordon Group, Extravaganza Productions, and our great folks at Third Generation Plumbing. Got any questions or issues with plumbing or AC? ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. All right, a couple other quick notes here. The Bolts lost last night in their preseason opener 2-1 to the Carolina Hurricane, but Logan Brown, the big 6'7", 222-pound forward who's trying to earn a spot. He's been banged up with the hip injuries and whatnot. The dude is like large. That's pretty big for a forward. Got some skills. Hopefully, it's a guy that can kind of jump on the scene and kind of fulfill his potential and make an impact, because Luke Glendenning doesn't look like he's going to start the season. He's still got a shoulder injury. Mikey Acimont may not start the season. No, they'll be coming back. So they're going to need some young guys to fill in early on in this new look Lightning team without 91. Looks weird out there, even though it's preseason. You don't see a lot of the guys anyway, but
still,
yeah.
No, he's not even on the bench. I mean, just knowing he's not even there, it's going to be weird.
And they're actually in Orlando tonight to take on the Panthers, I believe.
Playing the Solar Bears?
No, Solar Bears will be there. So that should be a fun time in Orlando tonight. And the Rays lost yesterday, 3 hits total against Skubal of the Tigers, who's been really, really good this year. That young pitcher can flat out pitch, but another 3-hit, 1-run game for the Rays. Jeez. Please sign some hitters in the offseason. All right, that'll do it for us here. A little shorter show today. I'm heading over to the Bucs to get some good content for you kids for tomorrow. we'll take the temperature of these guys, see how they're doing. Hopefully they're pissed off and ready to play this week. Thank you, Timmy. Appreciate you. Thank you all for commenting today, and we will be back at you tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then.